So today we've got another piece of stinky wood here that's been soaking for a while, just to keep it nice and easily workable. I know I say that each time, but honestly the stink just gets me each time. It's so gross. Anyways, I am going to work on this piece of wood. As you can see, it's quite large. It's a thick piece of wood. So I let this one soak for a while longer because it had been chopped or cut up for a while, not split or cut into such a small piece, but the log had been on the ground for a while before I got a piece of it. And so I want to make a nice, deep Kuksa cup with it. It's Kuksa cup. And yeah, I really want to do that. Now, I've made small ones before, or for instance, I still have this out here. This one that I've showed y'all before. Oh, it's dirty now, but I had this, which was kind of like a ladle, and I broke through the bottom of it, but I've never made like a real full-size Kuksa cup. It's tough, I'm not gonna lie. It just takes a lot of time hollowing out the middle, and so I'm always kind of hesitant to make one. I like making the cooking spoons because they're nice, easy, kind of quick, but I also want to challenge myself some and really do something new. I like making new things that I haven't made before, so I want to give that a shot. And obviously this is a huge log. I'm not going to need all of this log, just not a chance. So I'm going to get the bark off, and probably what I'll do is I will try and map out on here, because I have a feeling that this is the side I'm going to want to work with. Maybe this side, I'm not sure. But on one of these sides, I want to kind of map out how long I need it to be, and then use the saw to saw through it. I may even take off a small portion. So for instance, if I make it on this side, like this is the top of the Kuksa cup, I may split this, or try to split this right here, so that I can have less wood that I need to actually cut through. But we'll see. We'll see. I probably won't wind up doing that, because sometimes it's just good to have that wiggle room. But we're going to get started. Thank you for joining me today. Let's get this bark off. The bark definitely holds a lot of that smell. I'll probably need to go through and just take the bark off of all those pieces that are sitting in there. Sounds like it might rain soon. I never mind that. It's always kind of nice and relaxing whenever I'm working outside to have some rain. Well, as long as I'm under cover, which I am right now, but it's not always the case, so maybe not always relaxing. But it's relaxing when I'm out here doing some wood carving. Yeah, this one, you can see it's got this right up here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work on this side. I think it's going to be easier to get that down to a nice flat surface than the other side. There we go. This thing's starting to glance off kind of easily. Let me see. That's still pretty sharp, but let me just strop it real quick. Try and get it a little bit better. If this gets too bad out here, I may have to go inside anyways, because while this is a nice little shelter out here, you know how it gets. If it's blowing too hard, it's going to blow right in under this shelter, and I'm not going to carve in the rain, so it's not good for the phone or the camera or the axe. So we'll see what happens. There we go, that's a little bit better. Now, this is also hardwood, and it's actually really getting quite smooth in some of those areas, and I think it's just not a ton for this thing to grab onto, and so it's getting a little bit hard to chop in without going in at a sharper angle. Let's see here. That's not too bad right there. I think that I could probably just cut off this part. But let's see. I do have a pin somewhere here. I'm gonna put it in my other pocket. No? Well, I must have lost it then. So I had a pin. And oh, here it is. It's over here. So now what I want to do is probably do a similar size as I had here. No, not there. Let's see. I'm gonna take this guy and go around a little bit. This is just an estimate, so it's not gonna be super accurate. But then, off of that, I definitely want I think honestly that probably should be good. Okay. Alright, I am now looking at something. And I may have to do this the other way. There's a nice big crack there. And so that is definitely going to, and I don't know if you can see, but it actually goes pretty darn far down. So I'm actually just going to split that so that doesn't cause any trouble for me later on after I've gotten a good amount carved out and this thing cut in half. Let me just get that split where that crack is. You hear it cracking some? Alright, let's see. There we are. Let's see. I should be able to come from the other side of this now and split it the rest of the way. Because I think that's mainly what's holding it, is this half not being split. Okay, I didn't quite get it. I think far enough into the log there. So let's see. This should work a little bit better now. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's almost all the way off. There we go. Look at that. It's beautiful. Okay. Wow. Alright, so now I'm going to work on actually flattening this area out. Glancing off some. I think some of that is also going to be the fact that there's a knot right there, so you can see, you know, pretty good size little knot there. Not terrible, but it's definitely enough to make it glance off. You can see it's definitely cutting in or biting in a little bit easier on this other side where the knot is not over there. So that's starting to look about right. I need to get this part down a little bit more, just a little bit flatter before I go sawing anything off, but I think we're getting close. It's starting to go. Golly, that thing's tough. It's going eventually. All right. Alright. Oh. This side's a little bit. That'll be hopefully more than enough. I don't know though. That's very wide. I don't know how that'll keep up as far as wood goes. I'd love to keep that in there. So I might try and do that. But let me try and flatten up a little bit more because I was doing a pretty good sized handle there. I say good sized handle. It'll have to be taller rather than longer. Alright, I'm just gonna have to sharpen this thing up a little bit after I hopefully cut this. This one's gonna be a little bit of a longer cut, so probably will get cut out of the video, but enjoy the transition from it not being cut to it being cut. Look at that, and it's done. It did not take as long as I thought it would, so that's nice. But oh, nice. You can see how that kind of dark ring runs into there and in here a little bit. This one doesn't go as deep, so I don't know if you can see it. You can see a little bit of the dark part that goes down in there. We'll see how it goes though. Hopefully we can manage to get some of that coloration in this Kuksa. That would be really cool. I'd like that. But let's sharpen. Still cutting at the very tip, so it's obviously not too gold. But we're gonna see what we can do here. I think I've mentioned it before, but I have a sharpening puck that I would usually use, but I've found that it's just hard to keep a good straight line with that, keep the bevel as it's supposed to be. I just need to practice with it, but I'll get there eventually. But for now, stropping seems to be doing really well, and it takes a little bit more time because I got to be a little bit more intentional, but if I was being intentional with the puck so as not to mess up the bevel, it would take about the same amount of time. Maybe a little bit shorter because stropping obviously takes less off the blade than a sharpening puck of, I think it's like 400 grit on one side, maybe 800 or 1000 on another, I don't really know. But I'm obviously doing a little bit more on this side because this is the side that I cut in with, and so if that angle is not as sharp as the other side, it'll just glance off. which is part of why I do the seeing if it'll, shave, so to speak, because if it won't shave on the side that I usually cut in with, on the right side, like with that side up, but it'll shave with the other side, then I know that the angle is off, or, and it's okay if the angle is off a little bit if this side is steeper or a sharper angle than the other side, but if the other side's a sharper angle, then it's not okay. So let's see how we're doing. No, it's not really cutting. Let's see, what about the other side? I'm cutting on. Oh, okay. That's definitely cutting easier on this side. But so that means that eventually I'm gonna have to sharpen this probably on the whetstone again. It's been a little while since I've used a stone on it, and I've been stropping mainly, and that's been keeping it pretty sharp. But obviously, when you're splitting with it and things like that, it's just gonna use up a little bit more of the life. Or rather, what I probably need to do is, there we go, it's shaving a little bit easier on that side now. But stropping compound, the metal polishing compound, is mainly off of this. So I'll probably need to put more of that on there so that it can continue. Yeah, let's see. Alright, it's kind of going. Oh man, I've got some mosquitoes on me. It's not fun. I'm gonna have to start wearing bug spray out here. now the question is, I think because there's a hole right here, I want to use this side as the bowl of the kuksa. Yeah. That's about right. So probably go towards the inside of that line, make it a bit smaller, of course, because I don't want it to be massive. I don't think that would make a good kuksa. But also part of it is that I would like to do what I've seen people do, and I think it looks really cool, and I would really love to be able to do it if I can get it down, is they make the outside of it wider than the opening of the bowl, so it's like one of those vases where it bubbles out some, and so, or like those mugs that kind of bubble out some. I really like it, and so I really want to do that, and I think that would be cool. So I'm going to try and do that, and I think that if I do that with like the rim of the kuksa around here, so, and let's see, you can do a nice like handle probably about this. I'm just gonna keep it about there. Now I've seen some people where they make it a mug like an actual, or a handle like an actual mug, where they cut it off about here and they kind of curve it down and it's like a real handle. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, so I'm just gonna keep this just in case, because I'd really hate to cut off that and then not be able to do the handle like I want it. Now I've also seen it done where you keep maybe a handle just like a piece of wood like this, and then you literally just drill a hole through it, so it's like a one finger handle, mosquito. So I may try and do that, I don't know. We're just gonna have to see. So let me see this guy, and I'm gonna take it here. I'm gonna cut in a couple places because it's gonna be really hard to axe out as much as there is. So I'm gonna try and get it to where I can literally just chip off a whole bunch of pieces here without having to axe everything. I'm gonna go from this side so that I can actually see the pin mark. We're getting there. All right. So there's that. I'm probably going to do one here as well. But because of how large this piece of wood is, I think I'm going to use the big saw for it. Alright, so that is pretty good. That'll be a chunk for now. So I'm going to try and get those chunks off first, and then we'll see where we're going to go from there. And then I'll have to get the other side as well, of course. Alright, starting to go into where I'm wanting, or not wanting it to go. It's starting to go into where that handle's going to be, so let me see if I can't cut off where it's splitting currently. There we go. That's that chunk off. And, well, there that goes. Okay, so, darn. So that means a smaller circle now. It's going to be a smaller Kuksa cup. That kind of is a bummer, but that's okay. Unfortunately, that's just one of the downsides of working with wood. Well, I say the downsides. It's just one of the risks. So, let's see if I start. If I want to go from the same kind of line there, I'm going to have to move this over. But you know what? That has some good aspects to it. And the good aspect is that it means that we may get more of this coloration in there.